The United Kingdom seemingly with problems on all fronts. The UK economy shrank at its fastest pace since the 2008 recession, losing over 2% in the 3 months leading up to March. That was followed by a record fall by 5.8% in March when lockdown measures first took effect. And standing by to give us more details is our business editor, Stephen Carroll. Stephen, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. How does the picture for the UK economy compare to what we've seen elsewhere?
If you look at those figures for the first 3 months of the year, that 2% contraction, dramatic in terms of being the fastest fall since 2008, but not as steep as the contraction we've seen in other economies across Europe. France, for example, its economy shrank by 5.8% in the first 3 months of this year, Italy's by 4.7%, and the Eurozone as a whole shrank by almost 4% as well in the first 3 months of the year. So comparatively, the UK picture doesn't look that bad, but what we saw in these latest statistics is that, as in elsewhere, as the lockdown measures came into force, the dramatic contraction of the economy towards the end of that 3-month period, 5.8% the UK's economy shrank by in March of this year. And that's something that saw industries like the services industry, construction, significantly contract from their usual levels of production. Figures to date from the British Retail Consortium showing that retail sales fell by almost 20% as well. So the fact that the UK's lockdown came into force that much later than the rest of Europe, the 23rd of March, lockdown measures came into force in the UK, means that those figures are a little bit delayed compared to what we've seen elsewhere. And as the UK is starting to lift restrictions, at least in England for now, of course, the hope is from the government there that they'll be able to restart parts of the economy that have shut down in the meantime, get people back to work, get people critically spending money, because consumer spending is the most important part of the economy. And the real hope of governments everywhere at the moment is to get consumers back into the shops and spending money, because that's what will help the economic recovery at the end of this. The Bank of England is expecting the UK to see its worst recession on record this year, 14% contraction in the economy. A recovery predicted next year is totally dependent on the economy getting back to work.
And Stephen, if we look at the situation here in France, Amazon has announced it's extended the closure of its warehouses for another week as its dispute with workers over safety conditions continues. What more can you tell us on that?
Amazon's 6 warehouses in France have been closed since the 16th of April, and that was something that started as a dispute with workers' unions over safety conditions in those warehouses. It ended up in a court ruling which said that Amazon could only deliver essential goods. Amazon said the ruling was too complicated to comply with. It said that if it only shipped 0.1% of the goods that weren't approved, it could face fines of up to €1 billion a week due to that court judgment. It said that it was unable to operate under those circumstances and simply shut the warehouses down. Now, the unions that I've been speaking to, union representatives, say that they are in talks with Amazon over the conditions at the warehouses. They say that particularly the issue of social distancing is a big one in the warehouses, and they need to have set up a situation in place to deal with, for example, how 2 people can carry heavy items or moving things around the warehouses that require people to be closer than social distancing should allow. There is no agreement on that yet, and Amazon has extended the closure of warehouses until the 18th of May. This, of course, at a time when there is massive increase in demand for Amazon services. We know more people are shopping online. Amazon has seen a huge spike in orders, but many French shoppers will be left waiting for those orders to be delivered until the warehouses are reopened.
Our business editor, Stephen Carroll, thank you very much for those details. Thank you, Stephen.